Vikings. The wonderful start. Two teams that are waiting to register their first game of the day. Both of them were very good on paper. Proudly actually expected to win that first game, but we saw two really good teams that played against him, and it shows that this tournament is highly competitive. So both must be itching to get first points on the board. Vikings have started on 0. Do we have the lines? I don't know who's playing.
It's an interesting thing. All the guys in Vikings, except for Dubai.
The first big play by
Doc.
What a beautiful who threw that?
A 15-year-old.
A 15-year-old or 45-year-old?
Yes, exactly. And a 30-yard difference was there also. Oh, a little closer.
Yeah, so that shows the sort of age group that we see in Indian Ultimate. The person who threw it is 15 years old, and Ajit, you've seen Aaron play for a while. He's a new upcoming star in Airbenders. I saw a little bit of him at the sectionals.
At this point, Airbenders, Pixie considers him to be his protege and hoping to take over his title. So let's see if he can step up.
And Doc never gets old. Doc's been around. He started playing with L2F, so he's been around in the Ultimate circuit for at least 14 years.
Wasn't he a Masters when he started the sport itself?
Could have been.
Could be, no? I have a feeling he was a Masters when he started the sport and he's been continuing ever since. Like I told, no, interestingly, they don't have a single player outside Chennai in LN. Okay, at least the guys. And therefore, they have more chances of practice. And I think they even held a camp before the tournament. In the 3 weeks, they held a camp just to see how they can gel in and then they can come. Like how Mac had told earlier, they had a lot of baggage that they need to win this tournament, and when they stepped into the first match, didn't go accordingly. Now I think they're more relaxed, they're more looking as they're more comfortable, and now they're playing this. Pull coming from Talib, another 18-year-old from Airbenders, and pull is being caught by...
Running the disc down quickly.
I think that's Cedric, if I'm correct. Sorry if I missed my names. Madan. Oof, that was a close one. No, that's not. Oh, that is Minu. Madan looking to Rama. Was Rama the highest bid player in the...
Yeah, he was sold for, I think, 2,800 or so. And I think the dynamics of the auction were that one player owner or one owner could end up playing, and considering Rocket was a player and we know how good a player... let's see what's happening there. Oh.
He was at the half lane and the disc was thrown, and then he overtook 5 players and then he caught it. Now you know why he was bid the highest amount. Ask them for this one, no? It'll be little easier.
So yeah, so going back to the auction, LNF was, I think, the team that came best prepared. I think most of the other teams were, or a lot of the other teams, including us, were winging it. But LNF came in with a CEO, COO, coach, assistant coach. So they put a lot of thought into it for sure. And yeah, and I think they had the strategy of going for Shiva, because I think, if I remember correctly, for the first 15 minutes or so in the auction, they were very silent, because we started off with a marquee player list, and Shiva's name was the last name that came up, and they wanted to ensure that
his name was the last, no?
Yeah, I think that was by design to keep up the anticipation for picking him. But yeah, so he, as expected, he went for the most. Shiva's again a player who I think
he's represented every India team.
Yeah, and about 10 years back, I remember in BUO 2013 is when Boone was instrumental in bringing and discovering a lot of these fly wild kids, and Shiva was one of those people from there. Who's caught that?
Aaron caught that again. Aaron's getting the confidence. He's not worried. He's not worried about like throwing. He's just like, I'm already the new one. I'm just gonna come here. I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna play. That's Devati with the disc. Devati throwing. Then Rocket. That's his trademark D. See, Rocket clear and he's got that. It's a nice score. That's
Okay,
a
bookends for Rocket.
bookends for Rocket. What is bookend, Mr. Foundy? Can you please explain?
I don't know actually about the origin of it all, but you make the D and you score the goal. That's what
When the same person gets a D and gets the score, that's called bookend.
I would think so.
Let's keep it so for this commentary at least.
What's the score? I think it's LNF 2-1 up.
2-1 or score? 2-1.
Who started on O? Vikings, eh?
Good depth in the squad, no, for LNF. Half of these players are names I keep getting confused, and their jerseys don't help. They're only like half the numbers are displayed.
Our eyesight and our age doesn't help either.
That also doesn't. Okay, I want to know this. If there was a player you could have picked from Chennai, who would you have picked?
No, I think everybody wanted to pick Shiva. It was just, do you want to build a team around one person because he's going to cost you a lot, or can you build a more balanced team? So, yeah, I mean, I think it would have been good to have someone like him, but
I thought the entire strategy was to go with Box from Stall 7, and he was the marquee player. And we were very disappointed when his name didn't come up on the list. We even like asked the organizers to see if they can get him into the field, but he doesn't seem like he cares about us like how we care about him for the last 10 years or so.
that's Ajit showing some love for box.
Oh no. Okay, let's go. Now this is going to show how much
Vikings
mental
drop
capacity is
drop
going
the
to be there.
pull.
I think Vikings really need to showcase their mental capacity here.
Who's picked that up? Rocket, right?
Rocket.
Rocket to who
That
caught
was a
it?
nice break side throw. Surprisingly, that throw can only be done with the flick, and with the backhand, it's going to be a lot more harder because you don't have the angle because you have to step out and then you have to throw. That just like adds up. Let's see. Who's your lineup right now?
Both teams seem to have a big squad. I think LNF looks to have the bigger squad, but it could also be non-players who are. So their support team is surely the biggest, if not the playing team itself.
Aaron, Dubai, Isai, Ashwini, Riku, Kavya, and Devati. I think LNF has a full Bangalore squad, and Viking has a full Bangalore squad, and LNF has a full Chennai squad. What do you think about the difference in play style between Bangalore and Chennai, Mr. Foundy?
I think Chennai is a lot more raw and instinctive. I mean, I think there is some sort of unsaid trust amongst people there because I think everybody knows very well what the other is capable of, and even if they aren't seeing a player run for the disc, they will still take that shot and they will hope somebody gets there, and that's how a lot of top
That's
teams abroad
zone
play
look,
as well.
zone look with Aaron and Isai running it, with Dubai coming in to help. No, that's Chetu coming in to help, sorry. Chetu from L2F.
Is that Aaron on the disc?
Aaron's on the disc. Aaron's going. That's Chetu coming back. Devati free and she gets the disc and then looks forward, makes one forward pass. That to Riku. Surprisingly, half these kids play for the same school. Study in the same school, sorry, not even play for the same school.
Creative.
All of them are part of the creative school. Actually, they have like two siblings representation here. Anna, who was the highest bid goal, if I'm correct. Hmm. What just happened there? I missed that.
A hammer that went a little too far out.
To Riku, right? Hmm. And Aaron, who's been like pretty much the pivot around which LNF seem to be like creating their place. Looks like an ISO stack which is coming in. Not an ISO, a single handler stack. Have you ever played a single handler stack, Mr. Foundy? Because you play a single handler stack, the entire break side is free. So anyone can cut from anywhere, and that full region you just run into it to get it. So that's the biggest advantage. And the header stack can cut either direction. That's Pranav with the disc. That's a switch play between Chetu and Isai, where they just change the players based on the positioning so that whoever's got. Oh, wonderful grab. Spoke too soon. Aaron, I don't think he got the D. I think Pranav is the one who missed it. Look at that. Give go, run. And a put for Chetu all the way to Aaron. Can Aaron get it?
Oh, nice attempt.
That looked like bookend layouts he wanted to do over there. That was a wonderful attempt.
Does Aaron play on the O line or D line at Airbenders?
Plays on the O line. He's got the confidence, but he clearly seems to be showcasing that he can even play on D line and how versatile of a player he is. He is turning out to be a big threat coming into the game. Mr. Foundy, I think it's high time we continue our retirement and not play the sport. See, did you just see that with the single handler? No.
Pranav with the disc. Oh, nice.
Nice
leg
foot block. But that's a foul call.
What did you think? Was it clean or?
I just state
Controversial.
facts. I do not like involve myself in all these controversies. Steer clear of those. We have a guest commentator coming in right now, Miss Ghana
Ouch. Hello, guys.
from. Get the mic closer, no?
Hello.
What do you think? How do you think the game is looking?
I see some great plays by both teams. The energy is super high, so I'm really hoping for a nail-biting finish. But what a grab. Nice grab, Pranav.
Would you like to say what are these great plays that you have been seeing from both teams?
I think Aaron's layout was mind-blowing. It's just sad that he just didn't get to the disc, but like making those big plays makes the game more exciting.
Thank you so much, Miss Ghana. Sorry, Mrs. Ghana.
Yeah, Mrs.
Right, Pranav with the disc.
We have our US contingent asking us to be louder.
Shout out to Dugong, aka Mr. Anirudh. That was a drop. I thought she caught it and then she dropped it.
Send in your questions on live chat and we'll see if we can answer them if we are. There's an interesting point. Dubai is from Chennai.
We told he's the only person who is from Chennai on the Viking squad.
Vishnu Das Box has messaged.
Finally,
"I'm
he gave a
recovering
shout
from
out
an
for us.
ACL surgery. Next season he'll be back. Box, Ajit's plan if you were in the auction was to buy one player with all the money, make you stand, huck, and nobody even needs to go cash because everybody will just look at the disc sale and we'll say, wow.
Now, Aishu with the disc. Oh, what a layout D. Pranav with the disc for the last 15 seconds with no mark on him. Pranav with the disc. Moving around. What is Chetu doing? Chetu is doing a blind mark. He's not even looking at the thrower. The last time when we tried to do that, the player ran away. So I don't know how effective that option is. Chetu seems to be doing a good job of it.
So Vikings largely seems to comprise of L2F and airbenders, right? We have Chetu, Pras,
ATC is saying. I think it's a more.
Ananya is also in that, right?
Yes, I think
I
so.
think I saw
But
Ananya.
they haven't Pras into Devati.
Devati, Pras, Chetu, Ananya from L2F. I don't know if I'm missing out people. And from airbenders, we have Goldie, Aaron, Doc. Who else?
That
Jaydeep,
Aaron with
who's coaching
another
the
D.
team.
That Talib also. They have
They have
Rizwan.
one
Has
guy from
Rizwan
Dubai,
come?
right?
I think so. The jersey number is written like that only. Jersey number, no, sorry. Jersey name. Chetu the brick. So beautiful positioning. Devati save. No. You know. There's no dump. 3 people come back. Just the quickness with the disc makes a difference. No, the second you give the disc and then you start like taking off because your defenders caught off foot. Nice D again.
Is that Aaron again?
That was Isai. Isai went and he played in Australia for a year or 2 years. He played for. Do you know which club he played for?
Yeah, we played against them, right? In Philippines.
Which club was that?
Melbourne.
Oh no.
Was
Some
it Melbourne
miscommunication.
something?
Some miscommunication between Aaron and Chetu. Chetu went upline and Aaron expected around. But that's okay. Like you can see, both of them just give a high five, then say the next point, new point, let's go. You're telling me, Mr. Foundy? Which team did Isai play for?
I think it was one of the Melbourne teams. I can't recall what it was called. Not Chile.
It was Chile.
No.
He played for
Raj
Chile.
played for Chile.
So did he.
He played for that rather white jersey team with a maroon thing.
Chile. It's a timeout now. Timeout. On one side, you have Coach Box, who has been coaching India for a long time. He is giving the pep talk, and on the other side, we have Jaydeep. You have been coached by both of them, haven't you, at some point? Or have you played with both of them at some point?
No, I've been coached by Box in Hong Kong, and Jaydeep. No, we've surprisingly moved cities right after they moved. So they were in Bombay, and we were in Bombay, and then they moved to Delhi, and the other way around. So no, I haven't been coached by him either. But it's interesting that in this format of Ultimate, in this format of competitive Ultimate, teams are vesting so much effort into having designated coaches and managers and other aspects, and I think it, it, it definitely helps, especially because a lot of these people are playing together for the first time, or together at least. So it helps when you have one person who has some sort of a authoritative say in terms of what the team should be doing, and hopefully it helps manage overall team spirit and the mood in the team over a 3-day tournament.
It also helps with the players being fully involved with what their role is and need not have to look at it from a broader perspective. So the coach can come in, they can fill out such roles. This lineup, they have Rocket and Rama playing together. And on the opposite line, we have Talib, Aaron, Dubai on the line. Mr. Foundy,
I'm being told by multiple people that I'm not very audible, so I shall try and speak up a little bit more and enunciate. I've heard a good way to enunciate is to spit when you talk. Ajit, are you ready?
you mean continue spitting on us?
So maybe I'll say something like this and then look at you and do. Fans seem to be liking that. So Ajit, that seems to be the popular opinion.
Me getting tubbed seems to be the popular opinion I see around. But I still got acknowledged by
Nice big throw by Aaron. Was it Rizwan actually? That was a Rizwan.
Talib who caught it. Ended by Prash from L2S.
Another Masters player who's played on multiple India teams. I think he was on the WUGC 2016 team, and he's going to be part of the L2F team that's playing at Ireland in the World Masters Championship.
I think you need to follow my I'll come into it.
Ajit, there's a question for you. Why aren't you playing? Ajit, would you like to answer that?
With you not participating in the tournament, there's no motivation for me to play this. 1 second. This is the commentator team. Would you like to join us? Yeah.
Okay, so basically they're asking for physio for one of that guy who's pointing it.
Who?
No, I think you'll have to speak to the organizers.
Tahir. Tahir is not sure.
Okay, we've been told the commentary team is in shambles.
Such big words.
You guys jerk, right? He needs it too.
Vineet SG says hi Ajit with a heart.
Hard to you too. Okay, Mr. Foundy, which playstyle do you personally prefer? Do you prefer the huck and play, or do you prefer like getting a structure and then sticking to it? I don't know, because you're played on multiple teams across India, and you know like how different regions have their own specific styles, and you've captained, if I'm correct, in 3 different cities. That is Bangalore, Delhi, and Bombay, except for Chennai.
No, Bombay, I think.
Bombay, you did not? Okay. So, what do you think about these?
No, I think if you have the players to. I think it depends entirely on the sort of team you have. Like, I think there have been teams where uh, receivers are good, fast, don't necessarily have the best throws, but can complement handlers really well. And I think in those sort of setups, huck play is quite good and effective. But I think if you want that 100% offense, you also need to have a game that can grind, and score patiently. I mean, it might look boring, but it's effective, and we've seen teams like L2F that have won multiple championships doing just that and proving that age is just a number, and experience, patience, and some sort of calmness while you play is probably more pivotal in crucial games. So I think in a one-off game, the more athletic team typically ends up winning, and we have a lot of teams like that across India. I mean, you have GK Mad in Delhi, we have Jumbish in Surat, we have teams like Flywild in Chennai that have proven that all-out athletes are very, very effective. But uh, yeah, I mean, if you also, I think Flywild and Jumbish are two teams that have specifically also translated that to winning national championships, and I think that proves to be a lethal combo that Indian teams are aspiring towards.
I think here you can clearly see how much more patiently they're trying to hold on to the disc and just like walk it up. Whereas spoke too soon, I guess. And a brilliant D.
Who was that? Madan?
I'm not sure who got the D, but it was a brilliant layout D. Mr. Foundy, they keep shouting force, force. Do you know what that is?
Force, for those people who are new to Ultimate, just means push the whole offense to play only on one side of the field.
And why would you do so?
Why don't you answer that?
How convenient, Mr. Foundy. I think it's because it's easier to split up the defense and just hold on to one half of the field rather than letting them throw everywhere and then running like headless chickens. I mean, you try to when you have really strong throwers and athletic players, it really doesn't matter. They are comfortable with breaking the mark. That's why an individual is going to come and stay as close as possible so that we can like cut off the throw. For example, that was a break side huck. And that was Manipa. What a clean catch.
Looks like he went 12 feet in the air to get that.
I think he was sitting on top of Ananya when he caught that disc. But Desai is the one who came down. Score is 5-2 to Lost and Found. 3-point deficit. How difficult is it to come back from a 3-point deficit, Mr. Foundy, since the last match you just did it? Do you like to say?
I think the hope needs to always be there. Uh, we had a interesting conversation even in the Spirit Circle where I think one team was obviously very, very dejected with a having a 4 point lead or a 3 point lead. They ended up losing the game, and the other team was on a 4 point momentum streak to go on to win the game. And I think most experienced players, I think, have been on both sides, and I think you could be well at handling pressure, but someday the other team could just have a lot more momentum and make fewer mistakes and make you make mistakes that you wouldn't normally make. So, um, yeah, I mean, I think here if Vikings is 3 points behind, it's very much possible. I think the way the auctions were conducted and looking at the squads of each of the team, I think all teams are fairly matched on paper. I mean, I think very hard to pick, and I think what we have seen with the results of day one also suggests that there isn't an outright sort of strong team that others can't really this thing because everybody started off on a fairly fair or level platform to build a team from then on.
Surprisingly, every other team has tried to use a marquee player around which the entire tournament or all their strategies work around, except for Viking. Viking seems to be doing it around Aaron, and that's a good pick, and it seems to be working.
Aaron, how much was Aaron sold for?
I think at base price at 250. I don't think there was a bid for Aaron.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Wow.
I know who caught. I don't know who threw. Doc, as usual, is catching all this. Let's play some fun facts, Mr. Foundy. I think we've been talking too much about just the overall sport. Let's just talk some about the players. On this lineup, there is on the D there is Taleb, Isai, Dubai, and the girls have Kavya, Ananya from L2F, Ananya from Airbenders, and Riku from Airbenders. And on the O line, we have Manipa. Do you know how Manipa was introduced to the sport?
No, I don't.
As Jagan's brother is what I remember. But now people are referring Jagan as Manipa's brother. What do you think about this change of storyline?
Most brothers are called like that.
You also have a brother, no? He is generally referred as MJ. What about you?
AMJ. Another MJ.
That is Cedric with the disc. He plays for Flywheel, and that is Rama, who also plays for Flywheel. Manipa, who also plays for Flywheel. 3 guys back, 4 girls downfield. There's a call on the field. Foul call. Rama sending another one. And easy grab. I think when you play with the players on the same team, there's a foul call. Mr. Foundy, want to know what do you think about these trust throws that we just saw just now? You see your teammate run just because you've played with them enough. Like you make the throw and you just believe they're going to get it down. How much of that in the decision making has made a difference in the teams, do you believe? In the performance, but
No, I think teams that have, owners here that have picked players who played with each other, you see that more happening. I think if you see icebreakers, it's largely a Mumbai or a Storm Chasers dominated team, and we saw a great chemistry or flow between those players. I think Lost and Found is largely what Flywild and maybe Airborne. So and some stall 7 players, and again in Chennai the setup is such that everybody plays on the beach. So although they are separate teams, I'm sure they play each other quite often. So they have that chemistry going. Vikings are, like we were discussing earlier, it's largely L2F and Airbenders. In Bangalore, although Bangalore has more teams than any other city, I think the grounds are obviously scarce. So each team has its own isolated practice, and while we play each other often, we don't necessarily play with each other on the same team. So that chemistry is probably harder to find in teams here at this showcase that are dominated by Bangalore specific players. I think we saw that even in the Surat showcase, where I think there were a lot of people largely from Surat and even from Delhi actually. And again, if you had 2-3 players who played with each other for few years, you saw that trust play like what you're terming it as, which is throw and somebody will be there to catch it and bail you out. And yeah, I think
Do you think the
it's
same play
good.
will again?
Sorry?
Do you think the same play will happen again?
No, I think they'll change it up.
They've just changed roles now. You say Talib running and Rama is there. Oh, with
I think he had a hand on the disc and three people ran into him. So I'm sure there's some conversation about whether he had a legit attempt to get that disc if these people hadn't bumped into him. My take on it from here is I think it'll be sent back.
how do they decide when to send back and when not to, Mr. Foundy?
I think it's largely to do with. I think we've also seen that it changes depending on the time in the game. I think if one team is doing really, really well and they're happy to accept calls of the other team, whereas in a closely contested game, we see a lot of these discs going back to where the contentious call started from. So, uh, yeah, and this looks like a fairly competitive game. So, and from what we could see, it didn't. I mean, it looked like both sides had their say on how that play happened. So I'm not surprised that it went back.
Manipa throwing again to Rama. Again in the air. 3 people, 4 people, and gets the disc. Over Talib. Manipa. In that point, it was basically the Flywild boys just playing with themselves, no, if I'm correct.
Good afternoon, laugh commentary team.
Thank you.
I think we are laughing at ourselves.
Now we
To
have
to up the quality in the commentary team,
a
we
guest.
have a U.S. citizen who's shown up, captain of Zoman Empire.
Zoman Empire. Oh my God!
What is that awesome team?
What is this?
Okay, so let's interview while this play is stopped for the moment. Let's interview the captain of Roman Empire, who was very, very instrumental in a 4-point comeback. So, Jason, what was your thought when you were 4 points down?
Sorry, lots of background noise. I think the first half we forgot that we're in such a beautiful atmosphere with the lights and the music, and we were just not enjoying ourselves. And I think we just changed the mindset. I think we played a game during the halftime, which really lightened the mood, and I think we just played better from there.
Good. Jason, how many comebacks have you been a part of, both on the winning side and losing side? And what's your sort of
Are you also asking about
take?
on-field and off-field?
No, only on field. And what's your advice to people to come out of it even if they were on the losing side?
I mean, it's part of the game, right? Or any sport you play. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. Just don't take it too seriously. It's still a game at the end of it. And yeah, feels good that we were on the good side this time.
Spoken by a very mature captain of a very awesome team.
Amazing team, I heard.
Ajit, what's your relationship with Zoman Empire? It's a team that you just heard of today, right?
Absolutely. I just saw them play last game and I was impressed. And the way how Jason was leading them and like how the rest of the teams were also getting pumped up in their warm up, just seeing Jason talk and push himself was a huge motivation.
So there was no
I'm going to
conflict.
shut this down now.
So there was no conflict of interest, Ajit, with regards to your vested interest in the team.
Absolutely not. This is on record.
Back to the frisbee.
Jason, why don't you give us some fun facts about these players?
Alright, LNF 6-3 up. We have Dubai with the disc. Chetu is dump.
Why is his name named Dubai?
Yeah, we went through this already. It was some WCBU incident where they were supposed to go to Dubai and he was practicing for the team. Down the line, jammed it down, sent it to Tara. Tara puts it up. Pass. Makes it look easy.
6-6-4 to LNF. So we were just talking of comebacks some time back, and Ajit was asking, is it possible that they can make a comeback? I believe a 2-point difference definitely looks like they're on the right track.
Jason, coming back to you, can you give us some fun facts about the LNF squad? You have been part of the LNF squad at some point? Or-
I played for DHT. Okay.
There's a question from Anirudh. Were there players who went unpicked in the auction?
Yeah, unfortunately, there were a big pool of players in the auction, and not everybody got a chance. Auction dynamics, it depended on when you came up, when your number came up, and I think there are a lot of good players that came towards the end, and the owners just didn't have any money left after that, at that point. So not a testament to their skill levels. It was just bad planning by owners like Aniket and Ajit.
It was also because of low bank balance by Mr. Aniket. If you would like to help that change, please GPay to 97408 Minu with the disc. Minu's sister Tarini plays for your team, Mr. Foundy.
Yes, she does.
Why did you choose Tarini over Mrinalini?
She was almost $1,000 cheaper.
Jason, can you talk a little bit more about ascribing value to people like this? Are you really saying a person is worth 50 rupees or 250 rupees?
I wasn't part of this auction, you were.
Guys, it was all virtual money. So a player is worth more than 50 rupees. Don't worry.
Until now, I thought I was going to get the 1,700.
Jason, there was a foul call over there. Fly wide. Rama with the disc. To Madan. Rama running deep. Rama stops, runs in. This Puja.
Okay, Jason, I have a question for you. So this is a game between two teams that are largely Bangalore and Chennai dominated, and you obviously played a. You built your frisbee career in Bangalore, but now you've seen a lot of growth in frisbee in a city like Surat. What's your take on how Ultimate is spreading in other cities, and what's been the reason behind Surat's rise in the Ultimate circuit?
So I don't think I had a big part in that. I think I went to an established system already. Vardhan sir, Hardik, Parthu, even Udaya Kumar Box before me put a lot of effort into um, making good systems, and also I think the facilities. Um, it's just so easy to have a practice at KG Farms at Fountainhead, and I think that's a big struggle here in Bangalore. Uh, we have to figure out grounds. We usually pay a lot if we want to play on turfs like this, and I think that is one thing that we need to fix here in Bangalore. I think the fact that Chennai Ultimate can walk to the beach every single night um, has shown over the years. Scores 5-6. Comeback time, Vikings. So yeah, coming back to the point, I think there has been difficulties in facilities, but everybody's just doing the best they can.
Jason, why don't you tell the fans a little bit more about all the international tournaments lined up this year? I think there are club teams and national teams going for some of these, right? So, what's happening where and who's going for what? Do you want to share some insights on that? After 2 years of non-international frisbee play, at least for Indian players.
Yeah, I hope I get the names right, but I know that High Tide is going to one of the international tournaments.
Which is High Tide?
High Tide is a team based out of Chennai. I think they have a few Bangalore players. Yeah. So High Tide is going to Cincinnati, which is WUCC. Then we have L2F and Puyol going for Ireland Masters, with L2F going for mixed and Puyol going for opens. We also have Ambush got a bid for windmills. Still a small step, but hopefully we can make it.
And we have Ajit, who's actually played at Windmills in the past. Ajit, tell us a little bit more about Windmill, what this tournament is about, and why it's such a big deal.
So, windmill seems like a hazy memory to begin with. But windmills in June, Jason, and you guys have made the squad to go? Ambush. Well, that's great. That, when we went in 2019, host. Hello? When we went in 2019 for Windmill, surprisingly, a lot of the European teams had come in, and they used this as a practice section before their World Championship. And we also got to see how the European clubs are. I think I personally played only in the Asian Championships, and I've seen how the Asian scene is. So it was interesting to see how Europe have different strategies and how they tend to utilize players and how they view spirit, and all the way up to how they end up helping each other on the field. So these are interesting perspectives. And of course, Windmill is one of the oldest tournaments and it's very reputed in the entire world. Mr. Foundy, can you play fun facts?
Ultimate.
No, we'll play two lies and a truth. Jason? No, with the players on the field. Of course you know. Come, we shall try. We shall try. I'm sure there are like... With Pras, you can like start.
Pras. Two lies and a truth about Pras.
Yes.
Okay. Isn't it two truths and one lie?
Oh, is that how they generally play? I've been playing the wrong game all this while.
It's a different game.
Do you know your teammates, Mr. Jason? Pras.
I've been away too long.
A lot of new names for this tournament. Since last 2 years, there's been COVID and there's not been enough practice or tournament. We haven't come across players from other cities. We're seeing quite a bit of influx of players like Vimal from, I think, Zoman Empire, who has been performing amazingly.
He's a good actor, this one. Yeah, I agree with you. I usually pride myself in knowing most of the players in the Ultimate scene, but lots of new names to us, I guess. Of course, they've been practicing in their club teams and growing. I remember Vimal as a really tiny kid, and I think during the pandemic, he's just shot up completely. Amazing player. There are a couple others as well. Lots of players from Callahan's here. And a couple more from Airborne on the LNF team. Rocky, Point, Bot. Cedric.
If I had to ask you to put your money on a team right now, it's 6-5. We have seen Vikings, I think, score 3 points in a row or 2 points in a row. 3, is it? And since we just had the question with you on comebacks, are you backing the team that's making the comeback, or do you think the experienced folks at LNF will figure out how to get back on track and be the dominating team that they were on paper?
Firstly, they need less pulls like that.
How much of a difference does a good pull make for defense?
I think it's a hugely underrated thing. Usually, even when we do have a good pull, we don't have players running up. I think that initial pressure will help a lot. And I think teams should focus on that a little more. Keeping it in the disc and running up and setting up. And on the flip side, actually, even offense should take advantage of teams not doing that. They should really work it up the field before defense is set up. Short field for LNF right now. Rama to Nima, back to Rama. Too fast to call their names. Rama in the end zone, in the red zone. Nima to somebody but score. I think it's Rocket.
Rama caught it. Oh no, Rocket got it.
Rocket got it, yeah.
Okay, Jason, another question for you, considering you've been well tuned into the development of players in Indian Ultimate. So 10 years back, we heard of Rama, Jagan, Sumesh, who else? Rocket, probably for the first time.
Ganesh.
Ganesh, Rahul Chennai. Uh, I think even in Bangalore, we had players like
Jason.
Chetu, Jason included, yes. Uh, and 10 years down the line, some of these players continue to be very, very relevant. And some of them have obviously prioritized other things. Who, according to you, are the players in their sub 22 age group right now who will be the movers and shakers of Indian Ultimate 7 to 8 years down the line? Actually, it's a question for both of you. So maybe Ajit could go first and then Jashin could give the
Who do you think
summarizing.
will still be there in 7 years?
Under 22 strong players today who you think are the next big names to watch out for in Indian Ultimate. So I want you to tell me two boys and two girls.
Anna from Airbenders. Her brother Aaron from Airbenders.
And they have age on their side.
Absolutely. I actually like the influx of new girls that have come up in Airbenders. Think they are really running the show and they've got the confidence and they've got the play. For example, I think 4 girls from Airbenders, all less than 18, have been selected for this tournament. And along with that, we have Deepika, Monica, anyone else from Chennai who I'm missing out, who is under 18, who is
Deepika Monica under 18?
Priya. Yes, Deepika and Monica are under 18, right? Not sure. But yeah,
So Anna and Aaron are your two picks that we know for sure are under 22 and by a big margin because they were 15 and 16.
correct.
And who else? Who else are the other two names according to you before me? Okay, let Jashin think of his first two names, and he's seen people in other geographies as well.
Need some thinking time, but immediately players who come to mind are Vimal, Karan Sharma, Anna definitely, and Arya Shah. I'm sure Arya's first year of college, just finished 12th.
It'll be Arya.
Basically, for all the others you were talking about, Vaisaiche.
We just saw Doc burning the grass at 42, 43,
Dog doesn't age.
and we saw Prass burning the grass on this side.
I think we saw it in the game of Rajalis versus Lost and Found, where it was basically the youngsters dominating. We have Bat, Monish, Arul, and of course Sanjay and Bot.
It was Ananya. That was Ananya to Ananya.
It's six. Who's up?
When I put up.
Score is 6-7.
7-6. Looks like another close game, like Ravi Shastri would say. It's going down to the wire. Is that like a tracer bullet, Jason?
There's some really good cutting pattern coming from Ananya from L2F. I think in the last 4 scores, she has been pivotal in getting the disc or has been trying to go get the D, and quite impressive how much of an individual is making a difference just by knowing where to be and just being in the game. I think it's very difficult to answer your question, Mr. Foundy. It's too difficult to just pick two and two. I think even if I was to go by city wise, there are just too many new players who are really stepping up, who are not just stepping up, who are replacing the players and telling them to leave and forcing them to leave. What do you think, Ms. Jason?
There's a full generation. The next gen of airbenders are really showing up at this tournament as well. Another girl that I missed out was, who's been on fire, was Deepika.
The deep cuts, constant deep cuts, irrespective whether you get the throw or not, just keep giving options relentlessly. I think they're doing a fantastic job.
Another question for the two of you. What's the role or importance of flair in Indian Ultimate? I mean, you've seen people who look really, really good with the disc. I think both you and both Ajit and Jason are examples of people like that who look pretty doing air bounce throws, low release throws, wide angle throws. And there are some people who are as effective in getting those out. Someone like a Pixie. Yes. Nice cough, Ajit. But no, Pixie is actually a great example, and he's exactly who I was thinking of as well, who has such a clinical, clean game and nothing fancy, but as effective. What's your take on it?
I think if you're going to play a textbook game all the time, then you end up being readable. As in, you will know what are the type of throws that you are expected to throw, the type of throws that you have, and the type of decision making you make. What flair brings in is the aspect of unpredictability, and that changes the momentum of the game. That I think is important. What do you think, Jason? Having flair versus like having like textbook. I say unreadable versus unreadable as well.
I would say Pixie is very unreadable. He had a great game against us in Zomin. I think as you become a fan of this game, you start appreciating players who are solid technically more than just the flair. And I think you need a mix of it, Aniket. I think
Thanks, Jason, for putting me in the spot. Now I know I'll just get pump faked by Pixie every time I cut for him. I love you, Pixie.
There's another interesting or very relevant question brought up by Madhu, who's been quite active on the live stream, on the comment section. So, about girls in Indian Ultimate, and I think we've seen a lot of progress, evolution of the game revolving around girls. I think when most of us or a lot of us started playing Ultimate 8 to 10 years back, it was very hard to find girls in the sport. Although at the international level the sport was still played using a 4:3 ratio, I think India was okay to make exceptions just to promote the sport, and therefore we have seen tournaments where we even played 6:1 ratio, and 5:2 was common for a long time. And I remember even when they enforced 4:3, a lot of teams were unsure whether the sport would, or their team specifically would sustain, especially if they hadn't done a good job of uh, encouraging girl players to join them. But I think all in all, it's definitely been good. I think we've seen girls play as important, more important a part in ensuring teams do well. I think we also are now seeing single gender sport come about, and specifically women's ultimate leagues and women's ultimate specific sessions are popular in a lot of cities, Bangalore included. So, uh, yeah, and even if you see this game right now, I think you've seen a lot of teams where girls have been playmakers in the back. I think you've seen teams there, three handlers are all girls and the boys are cutting deep. Earlier, it used to be probably the other way around. So, yeah, sports moved in the right direction for sure.
I think this point is a perfect example of that. Ashwini has been the pivot around which the entire play has been going. She's been getting the disc and she's been holding the play, she's been making the play, she's been calling where they should go, she's been creating the set and just constantly she's got the disc. The score? That's a no, it's not. That's a turn. Oh my god, that's Rocket sprinting off and followed by I don't know. Rizwan. Oh my god. Yeah, but apart from the last turnover, I think it was Ashwini who was playing that entire point. She moved the disc. She knew who's open, who's not open. She knew when to pump fake, when to pass the disc. Regarding the question that you asked, Mr. Foundy, that was a perfect example of that. Like if even if you are athletically good and you're like very skilled, it it still needs a level of patience and it just shows. And that point was all Ashwini. Obviously, Rocket was able to use his speed. He was the fastest guy in 2015. He was the fastest guy, right, in the 40-meter dash.
In India selection?
In India, no, in the world halftime. Mm.
I'm not sure if uh, all the players competed, but it was a fun activity in the finals of the under 24 finals of the under 24 at London, and he was a proper 5 meters ahead of everyone, I think.
Does he still have the fastest time in Indian selection?
I would think so. I can't think of anyone faster than Rocket at the moment.
Krishna.
Krishna Damor.
Krishna Damor. I have Manipa. Cedric with the disc. Getting ready for the pull. It's a little difficult to see who's who. Their jersey numbers are also not clear. That's a great pull. That much we can see. And it's out. Clearly, I still can't see. Back to Aaron with the disc. Jason, this question is for you. Why do you think it's important for Indian teams to go play abroad? And how much of that makes a difference to the Indian ultimate scene?
I don't think it's completely necessary. I know we gain a lot of things, uh, but we need to figure out our financial situations first, is what I feel. I think there's a lot of talent here in India itself, and this is a showcase of it. High level quality ultimate, and hopefully we can figure out sponsors to play more regularly. Tara to Bhavya with the score for Vikings. Game getting really close.
That was a beautiful throw. Beautiful break side throw. I think Tarakai first got that. I think Aaron threw it across to Tara. Then there was another pass, and then Tara got it, and then she broke. It's not yet half time. He said captain Chili's, no? But he played for Chili's, no? What do you think about the jerseys in this tournament, Jason?
I like the Zoman jerseys the best. No bias. I think close second would probably be Uncharted. Little classy jerseys.
How important do you think jersey design and like jersey exchange is part of Ultimate Frisbee? Mr. Foundy, a great trader.
See, you either have the skills or the style. Skills can't be made in a day, but jerseys can be made by Agile.
This tournament is sponsored by Refex. But a shout out to Agile for these jerseys.
And you, of course, sometimes when everything clicks, you have people like Jason who have the style, both with the way he looks and the way he plays. So that's a match made in heaven.
Also Box. Box from Stall 7 also seems to be having that.
Special shout out, clearly not for the first time.
Back to the game, big huck by Rama. Right in the corner.
Wonderful.
Srividya with the score. Right in the corner.
Because I remember when we were bidding, we had 3 people, no?
$10-7 to LNF. Good to see Pranav back on the field after a really long time. Yeah, a couple of injuries. I think he had a surgery as well for an ACL on his knee. Not sure if he's 100%, but nice to see him. Aniket immediately telling us that he has the bigger knee. How did that happen, Aniket?
It was an unfortunate day at the practice session at L2F's ground. The first point, Ajit has a different version of it. Ajit, please tell us all what happened to my knee.
So we have Ajit telling us what happened to Aniket's knee.
If I'm correct, that day was your tryout for Zoman Empire, right? If you were to play well in that practice session, you could have continued to hold as an owner position on this spot.
That is true.
So what did you decide to do?
I broke a leg.
Sneha Patil has agreed with us about the Zoman jersey. I think that closes the case. We are no longer going to be speaking about jerseys in this tournament.
We might no longer be playing either because we want to keep our jersey from getting soiled.
Wonderful grab, wonderful break. Talib to Ananya. Around break.
Should we sell our Zoman Empire jersey? Please like, share, subscribe on the channel and give us your views.
Chat is saying if they have Aniket on the back of the shirt, they'll pay a little extra.
I'd pay that.
Alex, what was I spot on about? And why aren't you here, Alex? Is it because of the entry fee? Yeah.
Alex, Aniket has been kind enough to sponsor you. You can make your entry in the next 10 minutes.
Jason, why don't you tell us about Ambush, the what newly constructed super team that has been built to compete both at the national level and at the international level?
Yeah, so the idea behind that was to go for a couple of international tournaments. We got the bid for WUCC, but then decided not to. We felt that a tournament in Europe might be more fun and we would learn as much. The team is basically a mix of Jumbish and Nash with a couple of extra people like me and Maksud. But yeah, I think it's a good way to make sure that the older teams are developing. For example, there are a number of players on Jumbish who have been in the shadows of Karan Sharma and Shubham Khadu and Krishna Damor, and hopefully we'll see them this season taking bigger roles. And I think that was one of the main motives behind this. Look out for Sanjay Parmar and Umang Naidu, Ashish, lots of players. Big pile up, but no calls. I have a couple of questions. Who throws a better forehand pull, Chetu or Talib?
I think Chetu currently, I think he understands from where to make the pull based on the wind. And Talib is still learning.
He'll get there. Big in cut by Ananya. Kedar, the correct answer to your question is Ranjan. Forehand pull.
Who do you think has the smoothest forehand in the whole of Indian Ultimate?
Ajit wants to answer his own question. Just give us a second.
Ajit, for some reason, when this question came up, has taken off his shirt. Ajit,
has a tattoo in the box.
feeling perky.
I've actually found Arul to have the best forehand throw. And I think in terms of improvement also the last 2 years, if you were to see, it's very stable and he knows exactly how to do it and very consistent irrespective of the win. Of course, box is not counted in this. Okay. But again, another shout out for Mr. Vishnu Das, the legendary box.
Since we haven't had enough yet. I think Chetu has a great forehand. Been in awe for a while, but haven't learnt it yet. I think this was a build-up to ask who has the best hammer. And Aniket just wants us to say him. It's a close one. Aniket and HK.
Ajit, what do you call a three? What's another word for a three-dimensional square?
Vishnu Das.
Interesting.
Nine ten. Score 9-10. Minu with the disc. Riku on Minu. Nima with the disc. Rama with the disc. Manipa, Minu with the disc. Manipa running deep. Rama comes to refill. Nice try, Talib. Manipa back. Streaker on the field. And a huck. A break side. Backhand through. And a foul call. Cross field throw. Are you a fan of such throws?
I think the execution wasn't right, but if a little less float, I think Rama would have had it easily. Good D by Talib.
Jason, when we were speaking earlier, you were telling about the best disc mark that you know of in Indian Ultimate. Would you like to speak about that a little more?
No, because he didn't come today. I think Rama has a great mark. Akshay Gaju, Pranav, Ashwini has a excellent mark on DOD playing now. Pranav and my favorite is actually Prajwal from Girgitle. Just a little behind Cedric. Vikings have a chance to tie it up right here. Isai calling for calm. Talib wide open. If they want to center it, they do. Manipa with the disc after the turn. Tries to float it. Gets it to Nima. Nima fakes and assists.
20.
Prajwal playing the rest of the games.
Arvind, we're trying to figure out that same information actually. Birdie. Prajwal unfortunately had some emergency work to get to and didn't play today. Hopefully we see him tomorrow.
Ajit, who would you like to see tomorrow? Ajit, who would you like to see tomorrow as a special guest appearance?
I'm not running this gag anymore.
Guys, I think it's time to think outside the box.
Girgitli as a team has also come up quite a bit in the last 2-3 years. And not just the best mark, but also Sabil and Apurva as a player, and then Ruhi as a handler. Yeah. The last 2-3 years, or actually more, no, 4 years or so, they've really come up and they even won the. This last sectional was won by them, right? Correct. Undefeated. Pras. Again, Ashwini just running the play in this point. In Doc. Doc looking to Tara. Back. Again, the play will come. Oh! 2 bids. Walking it up. Dubai. To Pras. To Devati. What a brilliant throw.
Pras's trademark, look one way, throw the other way.
How often have you cut the wrong way because of these throws?
Too many times.
$10-11. So a very close game. I think it's hard cap now. Jason, would you like to explain what is hard cap?
I don't know all that. I haven't done advanced accreditation. I can't even pronounce accreditation.
How can you be a captain without advanced accreditation?
They didn't ask for it.
Who are your team owners?
I'll speak to Aniket. Talib has been exceptional in this game. I think he's totally waste. A total worth for this money.
He's a beast of a player.
Ajit, last 2 years we've been seeing COVID, etc. You want to talk about one of the first diseases that you might have got, chicken pox?
That happened in 2012 when we first came across it.
And he still has it.
Ajit's the only one who hasn't taken a vaccine for the chicken pox because he wants to live with it.
A surprising story. First time when I met Aniket, He and I both were fans of Vishnudas box, and we took a photo of where a long shot view where box is on the line and we both are behind him and we both our hands around him and he tries to take a photo like a Taj Mahal photo.
Do you still have it? I think off season needs to post that pic.
If I'm correct, Mr. Foundy,
शुभम शर्मा अगर मैं हिंदी चालू किया तो बहुत मुश्किल हो जाएगा. किसी को कुछ भी समझ नहीं आएगा.
अनिकेत कोशिश कर.
चलो जेशन और मैं अभी हिंदी में बात करेंगे. जेशन का हिंदी बहुत अच्छा हो गया है सूरत जाने के बाद, और अभी रांची में वो हिंदी ट्यूशन ले रहा है.
इंग्लिश नॉट हिंदी.
अच्छा, अपने आप का हिंदी ट्यूशन ले रहा है और बाकी लोगों का इंग्लिश ट्यूशन ले रहा है. अल्टीमेट फ्रिस्बी को हिंदी में क्या बोलते हैं?
अल्टीमेट फ्रिस्बी.
तुम्हारे मुंह में पान क्यों था?
That's from being in Jharkhand too long.
Mr. Aniket also does Tamil commentary.
Vanakkam. Okay, wait, there's a question that a lot of our fans have been asking.
No one is.
Ajit, what do you do?
I come here.
Backstory for this of today. We thought we don't have all the Zomin supporters because Ajit was supposed to be in Hyderabad. Half an hour later, we see a photo of him in Aniket's house.
Wearing, should we share that image on the YouTube live stream? You want to talk about the medieval attire you're wearing today?
This is a public channel. Please do not continue to have such.
Okay, looks like something interesting happened and we obviously got that.
Draw, universal. Universe point. Now real commentary starts. All this was warm up for this single point. Yeah, we'll go closer. It's only so much, yeah. It's only so much. Universal point, whichever team scores wins the match.
Let's call out the universe point lines. We have Talib, Chetu, Isai Dubai, Bhavya Jain,
Kavya and Kavya from Falcons. And on the other side we have Madan, Manipa, Rama. Can't see. Do you know the other one? I know the guys. Cedric and the three girls.
We need some Chennai commentators here, but sorry.
Sri Vidya is one. That wonderful pull. That's Minu. Minu to Cedric. Back to Minu. And Manipa looking to Madan. Talib doing a wonderful job making Rama just stay under and not letting him go deep.
Interesting call by Coach Box. Rocket's not on the field.
Letting them walk in. And Manipa. Talib holding Manipa. call. And a throw to Manipa. It's a win. What do you think about this game? LNF, I think LNF with the faster squad, I think Talib and Ashwini and the rest of them really did a fantastic job. Tahir, you were just offering something, no? Can you just like state?
Huh? So I was offering this T-shirt to Jashan only for the post-match interview.
And that jersey, my friends, is the off-season ultimate. Who are the ones who are conducting?
Ajit pointed his mic at Tahir's jersey and assumed everybody could hear his jersey. So the teams are, LNF is clearly celebrating. Good, hard-fought win. Uh, they had a tough game in the morning, and I'm sure they're relieved they got this. Vikings end the day with 2 losses, but the way they played here, I think they should be optimistic about how tomorrow uh, can be. And yeah, they play Zomans in the morning, right? Signing off from the live coverage, we had Jason, captain of Zoman Empire. We had myself, Aniket, and we had the biggest box fan in Ajit.
The second biggest after Aniket. That photo which everyone was asking for is there in Aniket's place. But jokes apart, hopefully we did not bore you to death. And Jason brought in some entertainment.
And intellect to our crap. Thank you. Peace out.
You mean box out?
Box out.
I don't know, just give it back. Thank you.
ஒரு ஒயிட் வந்துட்டாங்க.
Let's get done with the last interview and let's get home and sleep. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Where are the sheets? Is that the game list?
ஓகே அவர் வந்து சொல்லு சொல்லு.
இது வரலையா சார்? வரலையா சார்ல? ஓகே.
ஓகே அவர் வர சொல்லு. சிவா வர சொல்லு.
அங்க மைக் வந்து போட்டிருப்பேன். அப்புறம் சொல்லுங்க. மைக் வந்து
Other one.
Don't switch off after the interview. I'll just let people know that what are the next games for tomorrow. And I'll take hardly 1 minute after the interview.
Okay, okay.
Go back.
Fine.
He'll call.
Should we? Good to start?
Okay, start.
Hi, so we are at the post-match interview of the close game that just took place between Bangalore Vikings and Lost and Found. And we first have Coach Box from Lost and Found coming up, and he will tell us how the game went about. Hello, sir. So, I mean, let's start off with uh, Lost and Found as a team itself, because you were clearly very well prepared even at the auction, and you put a lot of thought into how you're also going to sort of structure the team, the ownership, and all of that. Are you happy with how the plans worked out in terms of this particular game?
To be very honest, we were trying to play our A game at every single point, but it didn't happen. We were slacking here and there, and I think that's the beauty of this tournament, right? We have 2 more days, and we hopefully will fix all the things that went wrong, and we'll be trying to play our A game tomorrow and see. And we are trying to take one game at a time. So first game we lost. This game, all we need to do is we fix from first game, and this time we made new mistakes, so we need to go back and fix it now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the beauty of a competitive tournament like this, because every game throws up a different curveball. So, but yeah, I mean, I think there were obviously a lot of good plays from your team specifically. What would you say are the top two strengths from your team in this particular game that you'd like to take forward to the rest of the tournament? It could be secrets that you're giving up, but what would you say you are happy as a coach with regards to this particular game for your team?
One thing, we were not able to meet together as a team before this morning. So everyone was here, and first game we were just trying to do what we are good at. And for me, I was seeing most of the players for the first time, and players are getting to play with each other. But this game, we were just getting into the lineups and working on some different strategies. We had some enough time in the afternoon. One thing I really enjoyed was our offense play here and there. It was very good, and we are going to take it. And same thing, we are slowly falling into our D line, and I really like that. So these are the two things we're going to take it for the next game. So offense strategy and D line, it's kind of working at this moment.
And I mean, you had a hard game in the morning. So did Vikings. What's your take on how Vikings came? No, no, I'm saying Vikings also had a hard game in the morning against Icebreakers. So both of you needed this one win at the end of the day, and you had a good universe point game. So what was your takeaway from how Vikings played? Any advice for them as well?
No, one thing for us, we obviously for both teams it was a must-win game. But we also focused on we have to win this game, but also we wanted to work on the things that we did bad in the first game. So the mistakes. So that was our main focus. I think for Vikings, obviously I think I'm seeing them as a team like same as first game didn't go very well for them, and it was a very good game. One thing that I thought they could have maybe done better is we played some poachy defense. They figured it out a little later, but I thought they could have adapted to it in the beginning. And yeah, that's what it is, right? So it took 2 points time for them. So the initial two breaks helped us to get the offense point in the universal point.
Got it. And I mean, in terms of legs on your team, you have a big squad, you have a big support squad. How are people feeling? Any injuries, etc., for tomorrow? Overall, is the team in good spirits right now, physically and otherwise?
Yeah. So we have Madhushri got injured in the first game, and apparently she was having injury from the beginning, like last week. It's also probably she's out of the tournament. She'll not be able to play. We'll get to know tomorrow morning. And we had Bharat Gopal slightly injured, and the physio said he'll be ready back for playing tomorrow. And the other thing is having bigger squad is also we are also maintaining the lineups, making sure everybody getting enough opportunity to play before the crucial games. That's also the thing that we are so much worried about, and it's working now, and we're happy that everybody is getting opportunity to play. Everybody getting opportunity to be playing under the pressure. So hopefully closer to the finals, we'll be able to work towards and see at the end of the pool games where we are.
Thanks, Box. All the best for
All the best
tomorrow. Thank you. We shall now have Jason coming in, and we'll have Bhavya from Bangalore Vikings who will talk to us about how their day went and how the last game went. Jason, over to you.
Yes, Bhavya!
Hi, do you want to introduce yourself first?
Hi, I'm Bhavya. I am currently playing with Airbenders. Actually, sorry, I'm currently playing with Bangalore Vikings. We had a really good game. Yeah.
Right. So I heard you didn't have the best start to the day. Unexpected, crushing defeat. How did your team come back from that to come to such a close game in the evening?
So essentially, we worked on the mistakes that we made. So that was communication, silly mistakes, and that either people were cutting a lot or no one was cutting. So essentially, the communication, and it is bound to happen since it's a pickup team and we aren't used to each other. But then we evolved and we talked about it, and we even during our breaks we played minis and we did drills and we got to know each other's playing style better. That helped us.
Right, that's a good point actually. What do you think of the scheduling? There's just one game in the morning, one game in the evening, lots of free time in between that. Do you prefer something like that, or do you like playing multiple games or as many games as possible? Because I know that some of the rosters are much bigger than the others.
Correct, but I think during the time that we have break, it's the time when the sun is the hottest, and that we were bound to get dehydrated. And when you're playing such an intense competition, you need a period of rest when you can give in your 100% in each game. So I think that break was required, and I really like to appreciate off season for coming up with this structure.
Right. Coming to the harder questions now. LNF is known for their on paper very fast and very experienced roster. Be honest with us. Do you think that were you guys nervous going into this game, especially after what happened in the morning? And yeah, how did you feel about it?
I can't speak for everyone on my team, but I definitely was nervous. But then we had our huddle, and Jaideep, who's our coach, he gave us a very motivation speech that we're going to take one game at a time, and it's just about 1 point at a time. So that was very important, and to understand that we all don't have to be superstars. We have to let people give space, and we have to let everyone play and communicate better. So if you see a game during points, we were letting women handle, we were letting women cut, and men taking a back seat. So I was nervous in the start, but later I was just chill and it was a fun game to play.
That's the best way to do it. Last question for you. I think basically all these teams are complete with superstars, and sometimes it's not easy to gel because most of these players would be on their universe points in their clubs. You just went into a universe point right now. How do you think it's possible to fit in so many stars in a team, and how can a team get the best out of each player?
Firstly, you believe it or not, we never knew it was the universal point. From the start, we were never told about the score. Halftime, we knew someone's 8, but never knew who it was. And then halftime, we just focused on making up for the mistakes that we made. Coming to the second part of the question, I think it's just about playing against your defenders and not with amongst yourself. So we recognize that if someone's a little weaker on the opposite line, we try to capitalize on that and we try to work like that. So even when end zone we wanted to try ISO, we always focused on who is a little weaker link and we tried to play on that.
Good point. Looks like you're going. The momentum is in your favor, going up. Good luck to you for your next match, which is against Oman Empire.
I can't wait to play against him.
Thank you. Handing it over to Tahir.
Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in to Off Season Ultimate YouTube channel live. Tomorrow we have 3 games in the morning and 3 games in the evening. Please check out our Instagram page as well for all updates. So I'll just give you an update for tomorrow morning games. Tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. we have Bangalore Vikings versus Zoman Empire. Second match is at 9:30 to 11 a.m. We have Icebreakers versus Rising Rajalis, and the third match we have in the morning session is Uncharted and Lost and Found. Thank you so much, guys, once again for showing us so much love on the YouTube, and stay tuned in tomorrow also Thank you and good night. Shabba khair. This is Tahir Siddiqui from Off Season Team signing off.